for the repeatable components of your business that you've got some confidence and can predict, can end up being a really attractive way of funding it. For the high risk parts of your business, equity is a great use of funds.
You obviously advise a bunch of entrepreneurs, you angel invested in companies as well. How do you talk through that decision between should I bootstrap or should I take on some extra money outside funding?
Yeah, I mean, my advice has always been sort of first figure out what you need the capital for, and then sort of match your sources and uses to speak in like accounting terms. But if you're investing, so if you think about the spectrum of sort of risk and return profile and cost, you've got equity on one end of the spectrum, which is really high risk capital, but it's very expensive. It comes with a lot of control terms, but there's no set amount of time necessarily that you have to pay back that equity. And so if you're investing in things like R&D, and you're investing in high risk, high reward parts of your business that may 10x your business, but may not work out at all, equities are great. Things like R&D and new product development and things. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got things like debt, and banks are really in the business of looking at assets. So exactly as Christina said, receivables, more often tangible assets, equipment, more often than not, it comes with a personal guarantee for the founder, and so those are real assets. So if you don't pay the bank back on the timeline that they expect, they can force you into bankruptcy, they can take those assets. And so what we've created, and the way we thought about it is like, what do most e-commerce businesses need money for? And it's inventory and marketing. And so we said, okay, well, what's the risk and return profile of those things? And it's not high risk, it's not new product development. If you have any sort of history, we can tell a dollar spent on inventory or a dollar spent on marketing, turns and creates a return over X period of time. And so that's where we created a revenue share structure where we said, look, we don't need to look at your assets. We don't need to take a personal guarantee because we're not in the business of taking your stuff or taking your business if things don't work out. We're in the business of trying to help you deploy that capital most efficiently so that things continue to go up and to the right. And so we don't have the downside protection of a bank, so we're not going to be as cheap as a bank, but we are not going to be as expensive as equity. So what we do is we invest and say, we'll fund it and we'll just take a portion of revenue until we get our capital back plus a fixed return, however long that takes. And so that's for the repeatable components of your business that you've got some confidence and can predict, can end up being a really attractive way of funding it. For the high risk parts of your business, equity is a great use of funds. For the incredibly low risk, where look, in the worst case scenario, I can sell this equipment or I can sell something and pay down this bank loan, then that's also, for the asset-based parts of businesses, that can be a really useful tool if the bank will give you credit for those assets.